And now, weighing in out of the blue corner, Josh the Punk Thompson. 100%. And on the other mic, he weighs in from the red corner, Big Sean McCarthy.
Well, welcome everyone. It is the newest edition of the Weighing In podcast after a very big UFC pay-per-view with Brian Ortega taking on the champ, Alexander Volkanovski. We got a lot to talk about with that. We've got a bunch to go off of other things that occurred, heavyweight championship boxing, ONE FC, all these things. Joshua Thompson, looking mighty good in that blue shirt. Matching me well, baby.
Oh, whoops. It looks good. I look good in blue. I know I look good in blue. But look, first off, let's say it is late Saturday night for you guys. What time is it there, John? 2 in the morning?
Yeah, 2 in the morning.
Dave's in Austin, so it's what, 1 in the morning?
1 in the morning.
Yep. Hour difference. For me, it's a little earlier than that, but it has been a very long day. Family, friends, fights, and more fights. But we've made it work, and guess what? Tonight was a great night of fights. Ooh. Also got to catch up with some of the ONE FC fights, and I got to watch my friend Marcus Buchecha put on his first MMA fight ever. And then I watched Christian Lee have a great performance, but it just wasn't enough. And we will talk about that also. But let's get into the UFC because that's what really everybody wants to hear. So let's get into the UFC first. And where do you want to start from?
I want to start, let's start real fast. Matthew Semelsberger, he's had some great fights. 15 seconds, 16 seconds knockout. It was a beautiful knockout, very fast. Congratulations. He's looking great, but stop the backflips. My God, that was the worst backflip ever. You're going to hurt yourself.
We've really got to do something about this celebration stuff. We've seen too many people get hurt. We've seen in the NFL, people trying to celebrate in the NFL as well and getting hurt. I'm like, just stop. Stop. Act like you've been there, man. Act like you're going to be back there. What's it called? Barry Sanders said, the reason why I never celebrated.
Payton
Barry Sanders.
Guy. Act like you've been there.
Maybe it was Walter Payton that said it.
It was Walter Payton.
Okay, fine. Barry Sanders, he said, I never acted up because he said, I always knew I'd be back.
There you go.
That's you're going to be there again. There's no reason to act that way. Anyways, especially when you know there's something that could happen. And like we've seen guys flip off the cage, off the top of the cage. Every time I see Eddie Alvarez or Chandler
I know
or
they're
Gaethje,
letting their knees going to blow out backwards.
And I'm just thinking to myself, like, why? You just won a great fight. You're in the top 5. What are you doing? Don't do that. But whatever, man. It is what it is. They're young. They feel young. They think.
But when they landed, I go, oh, okay.
I know, exactly. Until they land on a camera person, then,
I've seen that too.
We know what happens from there. All right, so where do you want to start out on this card?
Well, we did start with Matthew, but I want to say Jalen Turner, who we've both known for a while, works out at Ruka there. The tarantula, God, everybody that's known him has known he's really talented. He's got great stand-up. He's just good everywhere, and his ground game's really gotten better, and all of a sudden he's submitting guys, but he's hurting them first. This guy is going to be problems for people at 155. He's got that kind of talent.
Yeah, I mean, look, we're less than 5 minutes into this show, and I'm already going to say tall, long, and lanky. That's really what it comes down to. We are less than 5 minutes into this show. He is tall, long, and lanky. As long as he gets better off of his back, the ability to get back up, the ability to hit submissions, the ability to attack, sweep, submit, whatever it is from that position, and working back to his feet because he's nasty on the feet. If he can get back to his feet, use his striking, most people know that if they take him down, that there's not a whole lot of threat there, but he's getting better now there. So now that you've seen that, I think there's going to be a lot of different styles in which people fight him, as well as, like you said, getting him to 55, being a 55, he will be nasty at 55, I believe.
Yeah, he's going to be something. You want to watch someone that is going to continue to have these great moments in the UFC, you want to watch Jalen.
John, we were talking about this a little bit off air. I said, what I don't understand was that everyone that trains at Ruka, if you guys have not been to the Ruka facility, if you guys have not been to the Ruka warehouse, they have a beautiful facility in there that they work. It's all private training. It's invite pretty much only, which is great. You've got you've got like Bisping trains there, Rockhold trains there. You've got Chito Vera, he's there. You've got
Jason
Dern, she's there.
Jason Perillo, he's the guy that kind of runs it.
He's the coach that's there. You have the owner that's also there that trains with Perillo, and like a lot of BJ's always there. But what I don't understand is when they leave that facility after working with Perillo, why do they not go 2 blocks, 3 blocks down the road?
3 blocks.
And hit AOJ? What are you guys doing? Why are you not training with the Mendes brothers? Like, I don't understand this. Like, you guys should be there nonstop at that facility. Hoffa and Guillermo they're just nasty good, and they understand the fight game as well. I mean, the first time I ever trained with Hoffa, I trained with him in Hawaii, in Hilo with BJ. And I was like, he's like, yeah, just no punching me. Like, just don't hit me. Just grapple. And I was like, okay, cool. No gi. I got it. I never, honestly, true story, I never heard of him before. I never heard of him.
And then he fucking tapped you.
And he fucking, within, I would say, it was maybe a minute 20, maybe a minute 30. I think he was being nice the first minute. And then it was like, okay. But he's really damn good.
All of a sudden he's on your back and you go, how the frick did you get there?
No, he didn't have to get to my back. He hit me in the craziest darts because he actually trapped my elbow and then pushed it across with his knee. And I was like, hey, why don't you show me how to do that? Yeah. And so it's like seriously, it's one of the ways I set up my darts now for everywhere. For everything. Every time I teach my students that, like, I've learned so much just from them in the quick 2 weeks, 3 weeks that I spent with them, as well as going back to their facility there in Costa Mesa there at AOJ. It's amazing coaches, amazing people, but I don't understand the fighters that train out of Ruka, the facility there at their warehouse. Just go.
And they're both all white.
They're both
as far as the mats are white.
Yeah, the mats are all white.
The bags are white. Everything's white.
In Ruka, in Ruka, I know it looks white online, but it's actually like a light gray, a really light gray. Whereas at AOJ, everything is like white. All white. Everything's all white. But overall, yeah, I thought Jalen Turner looked good. I thought great performance. You know, just he looks good, man. He's getting better, which I don't know where he's training his jiu-jitsu at, but he is getting better, and it's great to see him finally, you know, work his way into off the ground into some submissions and stuff. But look, I thought Dawkins looked phenomenal.
He looked great.
Once the confidence built after he dropped Shamil, because I don't want to pronounce his last name because I'll murder it. But once he dropped Shamil, yeah, you keep lying to yourself. That's not how it's pronounced, John.
No,
keep
it's
lying
not.
To yourself. It's not how it's pronounced.
I don't know how to say that, guys.
I love it. John. He says it really fast and hopes that no one catches that it's wrong.
Oh, I know it's wrong. Especially that one. I said it.
I love it.
Not even knowing.
But once Dawkins landed some clean shots and was able to drop him and jumped on him and got some work done, and then the round ended, I was like, okay, second round. Then he came out really cocky. I didn't see the exchange. Were they supposed to touch gloves and then Shamil like try to hit him, or something happened? Because then Dawkins ended up flipping him off, giving him the bird. So I didn't see that exchange, but it ended up being it was really weird. But anytime fighters do that, I start thinking to myself, okay, stop reading your own paper clippings, because the first round ended great for you, but this fight can change quick with big guys. So yeah, one shot, especially with the bigger guys, you got to be very careful. But I thought Dawkins looked absolutely phenomenal. He was quicker with the punches. His punches were straighter. He wasn't loading up. He looked clean. Great win. Absolutely phenomenal job.
His boxing is really good. I mean, he takes good angles. His footwork, he slides his feet in. He doesn't fucking lean and, you know, plant his feet and lean in. He's moving. He's going to be a problem. You know, he is getting smaller, though. He's losing a lot because he had some extra body weight before. Yeah. He's getting smaller. He might even go down to 205. I don't know if that's a good idea for him, because he's got fast hands, and I think at heavyweight he's going to be faster. I love the fact that he called out Stipe and said, "Hey, look, fireman versus policeman. This is good." And it is. It's a good. I don't know if Stipe wants to take that based upon rankings and stuff. It's not going to do anything for him, but it's a good call out. You know, and he looked fantastic. So big night for him.
John, there was a couple things tonight I want to bring up, which is completely off topic, but for Stipe, absolutely not a good fight for him. In terms of, I think Stipe wins. Don't get me wrong. I think Stipe wins the fight. But I think like where you're at in your life, in terms of your age as well as your ranking, all that stuff, there's absolutely no reason for you to take that fight. Yep. And there's that. But John, tonight, I hadn't seen some friends in a long time, and they were going to go watch the fights at Smoke Eaters. So I went to go watch the fight at Smoke Eaters. I understand now why I don't go to places to watch fights.
That's me, man.
I'm just like, it was, don't get me wrong. I
can't go to that and listen because everyone's coming up asking me questions and stuff. And it's like, I just want to watch the fight.
John, it was Yeah, it was, especially during the Diaz fight. It was just not, it's not the business, man. And here's the thing. And the reason why I bring it up during this fight, I've got apparently, and I'm just being a retired Army Ranger Special Forces guy that's sitting two seats next to me, apparently. And he's telling me all about it. And he's talking about how these two fat fucks, they don't even deserve to be in there. If you looked at them, like, these guys can't fight. They're this, they're that. And I'm like, these guys are really good. One's ranked number 7. The other one I think is ranked number 10. Like Dawkins was 10, I believe, tonight. And Shamil was number 7, I think, 7 before the fight started. Yeah. And I'm like, I'm just hearing him talk. And I know he doesn't, it was, I can't, John, I can't go to these events anymore. I can't go watch fights at public places. I just, you know what? I'm going to start coming to my studio and just watching them. I have a TV in here. I've got
what I do.
I'm just, gosh, it was very, it tortures me to hear other people talk about other athletes. Cause I'm a former athlete, like, you know, in terms of a fighter. And I just get so, I want to get so defensive, you know, about this shit. And I'm just, drives me crazy. It drives me nuts to hear someone, it doesn't matter who it is. I don't care. I got a lot of love for all these fighters. I don't give a shit if you won or you lost tonight. Got a lot of love for them. And it's really upsetting to hear someone talk shit. And I'm just like, I was borderline going, you know, I know maybe you're whatever Army Ranger Special Forces. Guess what? Like, just leave. Go.
I love when people say, dude, I was trained by a Navy SEAL that showed me real hand to hand. It's like, let me just give you a clue, dude. If you're a Navy SEAL and you're in hand to hand, you fucked up. Just so you know. Okay?
Yeah, right. That's
not the way they fight. Okay. Yeah. Nothing. I know a lot of them. Great guys.
Yep.
Tough sons of bitches and very skilled. But if they're down to these, bad things have happened.
Yeah. You're running for your fucking life, by the way.
Yeah, man.
By the way, yeah. I've done so many events where I've gone out because Oak Grove Technologies brought me out to a couple like military bases. I did one in Fort Huachuca down in Arizona.
We've done training together on
we have.
Bases.
Yes, we have. We did in Hawaii several times.
Yeah.
But no, we were at Fort Huachuca with Oak Grove Technologies. They brought us out 4,000 troops out there on a huge like couple football fields out there. When the sun was rising at 4 a.m. was me, Bobby Southworth, Mike Swick.
Where in the hell was the sun rising at 4 a.m.?
It was Fort Huachuca. That's where it was. The sun was just barely trickling up. Fucking, it was just barely trickling up. It was still dark. But that was when that was the first time I actually realized that people in the military, they're kids. That was the first time I had ever realized, because I had met several people that day that were like 16, 17. I'm like, what are you guys doing in the military? How are you guys here? They're like, well, I emancipated from my parents. And, you know, and they joined the military because that's the way that's pretty much one of the leading ways people can emancipate from their parents. Yep. And so, you know, join the military, steady income, housing, all that stuff. So the judges will normally let them do it. Anyways, but I had realized, it's insane. I realized how little these troops know about fighting, because we had done several like techniques and it was like lost, just completely lost. And even the stuff that we had worked with people in Hawaii, some of the troops there, it was like some of them had a good base, some had, but the last time that someone was there actually teaching them was back when like Henzo was there or somebody was there when jiu-jitsu had first came out in 98, 99, like, you know, basically when they were like traveling around spreading their knowledge. And so
one of the things you got to love about them though is when you're teaching them something, they go all out.
They do.
They love it. They do not. They don't give any quarter. It's like, oh, you got to make this work and stuff. No. So
I love it. I love that about them, because I wish I could get that. I wish I could get that out of some of my young kids and some of my adult students. Sometimes they're just like laying on their back going, okay, is this how I do it? Every single person we worked with several times when we were there in Hawaii, it was insane. They just were like, okay, like this. I mean, they want to know. They need to know, but they want to know. That's what the great thing about it. Anyways, I thought Dawkins looked great. He looked phenomenal. He looked absolutely amazing. So great job to him, and tip my hat to him as well.
Someone who looked just as good was Dan Hooker.
You know, John,
come on, coming off a plane, that fight.
They both came off a plane.
Yeah,
so
that's true. That's true.
Okay,
good
point.
They
both had visa problems. They both came off a plane, and they
both made weight.
They both made weight, which is insane. I can't believe that they both made weight, because both of them, I actually thought that Nasrat was going to be bigger. When I saw them face to face, I was like, oh wow, there's a big difference.
Yeah.
I thought Nasrat was going to be a little, he has that barrel chestedness. He seems a little thicker. I got that, but he wasn't as tall.
No.
And I get that with Hooker. Hooker's tall, long, lanky. See, guys, I did it again for you guys. Just all you guys listening, I did it for you. Tall, long, and lanky. But he looked phenomenal. Hooker looked good. He was picking and choosing his shots. He did a great job tonight. And I thought Nasrat was going to give him a lot. Exactly. He had the takedowns.
Oh, yeah.
He was the one controlling the top position. He did a lot of great things. He's gotten so much better in terms of not just the striking, but in terms of the conditioning for the grappling. Yeah. People forget, if I am a good stand-up guy, it's not the same type of cardio and conditioning that I do for someone when I'm grappling with someone. So that you have to work on that. And he seems like he has put the work in, and he's gotten so much better from his last couple fights. And I know this was a win for him, so I don't want to say like, oh, that he hasn't been that good before. No, he's been phenomenal before. But he's also been put in situations for his last couple fights where one of them was a short notice fight, which I don't know who was it. He took a short notice fight against someone.
I don't know, because he had.
Can you click on Hooker? No, click on Hooker.
He had the Dustin Poirier fight was unbelievable.
Yeah, it was absolutely.
And then he had the Chandler loss, but the.
Was Chandler a last minute or was it?
No, Chandler wasn't a last minute.
No, it wasn't then, huh? I'm trying to remember. I thought he had a last minute fight. No, maybe I'm mixing him up with Paul Felder. Paul Felder came in last minute.
Oh, Paul Felder against RDA.
Oh, RDA. Okay, that's right.
RDA.
I'm mixing this all up. Sorry, guys.
You're killing me.
Yeah, I know. Hey, CTE, man, it ain't nothing to joke with, man. I'm just totally fucked up. Hey, I do the best I can. I let John handle all the dates and stats and the numbers and the spelling and the reading and all that stuff.
Definitely the math.
Definitely the math. Definitely. But great job by Dan Hooker. Like coming off the plane, people don't realize for both of these guys to make the weight coming off a plane, your body retains the water. It's hard. Like get in there. I got to tell you guys, I've flown into locations and had to make weight like 3 or 4 days later, and your body is still retaining the water. And I struggled. I was almost in tears, once or twice, going, damn, like what's going on? I can't sweat. Like nothing's coming out. I've already lost like 15 to 18 pounds. I'm like, fuck, what's going on? You start panicking. Sure. And then you go to sleep, you wake up, and you're able to go squeeze out 4 or 5 more pounds in the morning. It's just your body needs time to adjust. And he didn't have that time. Neither one of them had the time because they both flew in the day before weigh-ins. Yep. And so if your body doesn't adjust quickly and your body doesn't let the water go, you're screwed. And so the fact that both of them made the weight, both of them were professionals, absolutely amazing.
And both of them had to be hungry as hell on a flight. Yeah. That was a long flight for both of them. So
you see everyone fucking eating shit, eating their meals on the plane. You can smell it, and like everyone's having drinks and sodas. The car lady's coming by going, "Hey, would you like a water? Please? Would you like a drink? Would you like coffee?" And you're like, "Yeah, bitch, fuck you." That's what you're thinking, right? That's what you're thinking. Like, think about him. He's coming from where? New Zealand. Like, he's coming from New Zealand. The flight's what? 15 hours?
Yes. 15, 16 hours.
Yeah, it's a long ass flight. You're thinking to yourself, yeah, this chick, if she comes by one more time, I'm gonna punch her in her mouth. That's what you're thinking, John. That's what you're thinking.
Are you sure? You sure I can't get you a drink?
Yeah, no, I'm sure. I'm real good. Sure. Yeah, give me a cup of ice so I can spit it at you. That's what you're thinking. Poor guys, man. Hey, both of them came out like professionals, put on a great fight. It was actually a really good fight to watch. I was sitting there trying to drown out things around me, but it was actually a great fight, man.
Okay, I was really surprised that they didn't have that as the prelim main, but
so was I.
But then when Merab and Marlon went off, I go, that's why they didn't. They knew what they were doing.
They knew exactly what they were doing.
Oh, baby,
John, what a damn fight! That fight, honestly,
first round.
That fight stole the damn show. It stole the damn show.
Just moments of it were incredible. That first round was absolutely
insane,
nuts. You got to give it to Merab. That dude is just tough as freaking nails. He just took huge shots, ran away trying to get himself collected, took more shots, and then came back in the round.
Yeah.
By the end of it, look, if you're going to score it, you got to give it to Marlon, because he was close to finishing the fight. But even though Merab had his little moment at the end, but I said, Marlon wins the round, but he's going to lose the fight. you could see it.
John, I'm going to throw a little wrench in this whole thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
And I agree with you on how you're talking about, and it's very rare that I like to agree with you because people at home, they don't listen to us because they don't want me to. They listen to us because they don't want us to agree. And normally we don't. But Merab came out and said that he will not fight Aljamain Sterling.
Mm-hmm.
Do you put Merab now into that vacant spot to fight Petr Yan now that Aljo is out? And if he wins against Petr Yan, now he has no choice but to, as a promoter, we slide that shit in there, right?
You can't pass up Corey Sandhagen on that. You can't.
I'm not saying. I'm just saying.
Merab over him.
I get it, but when you look at Petr Yan and you look at Corey, it's going to be a good fight. I agree.
I want to point out how hurt Aljamain is because he had to pull out of the fight, and I'm sorry that he had to do that, but he was in the corner of Merab. He looked pretty damn good.
John, you're doing what I normally do.
I had to, man.
You gotta stop, man.
Come
you gotta
on.
stop. You gotta stop, John.
Dude, I think he's genius.
It's brilliant.
Genius.
Like, when we saw the news today, were you surprised at all?
Shocked. That's what I wrote in the text, right?
You're
shocking.
Such a compulsive liar. You're such a compulsive liar. I knew it. I knew you were a liar the first time I met you. Absolutely insane to believe.
I'm not a liar. I'm a definite smartass, though.
Yes, you definitely are. You definitely are. I sense a little sarcasm in there, John. Just a tiny bit. Just a tiny
sarcasm, man.
Oh, geez.
The man's injured. He's injured. He can't fight. I understand that.
Okay, so can you, Dave, can you pull up the rankings for that division?
Bantamweights.
So now Merab's going to take a jump because I think,
yeah,
he'll take a jump.
Yeah.
So now you've got Aldo, Rob Font, Corey Sandhagen, TJ. Look, if any of those guys in the top 5, they probably are not going to want to fight him because it's not, 2 weeks? So TJ can't do it. TJ's got knee surgery.
What's the date of that fight?
30th.
Is it October 30th?
Yes.
Yeah, that's not 3 weeks.
2 weeks. I said 2 weeks.
Are you high?
Oh, sorry. It's September, right? It's September. Sorry, I thought it was October.
September.
I thought we were October 19th or something like that.
Oh,
sorry.
my God.
Okay.
You missed a lot of things at that point. I just want you to know.
Bro, hey, Scott. Not Scott. I was about to call you Scott. John. I am so messed up with all of our damn dates for Bellator. We have Bellator coming up. We've got Bellator in the October 16th. We've got Moscow. And I'm like, okay, which shows am I? I'm like up and down. Like, oh, there's the UFC. Like, I'm trying to figure out my life right now.
Yeah.
I feel like every morning I wake up, I'm making life choices on like where I'm going somewhere in this world.
It's over. It's over 4 weeks. till that fight. So, all right, it's. Against, fighting someone against like Yan, you're going, it's tight. Yeah. It's definitely, if you've been doing things the right way and you're a professional and you're in the gym, yeah, you can do it.
No. I'm not doing it.
I'm not doing it,
John. I'm not doing it, John. Look, TJ's out because he had knee surgery.
Yeah.
Corey's sure he's lingering there. Rob
Corey's
Font.
Right there.
Yeah, Corey's right there. I agree with you. Corey's right there. Aldo's already fought him. He's out.
Yeah.
Marlon just lost. Honestly, Merab makes a really good sense. He's in shape. He's ready to go. I'm just throwing a wrench in there because of what he said. I will never fight Aljo.
You're trying to throw a major wrench.
Yes. Yeah. John, what's wrong with that?
Why are you trying to make Merab fight Aljo? Why are you trying to make teammate fight teammate?
It's for the title. That's the way it should be. If you're going to fight your teammate, it better be for a title. If you're going to
fight your teammate, it should be for the title.
Better be for a title. And I think stylistically, right, we've seen the only guy that's really beaten Petr Yan has been what?
Magomedov.
Magomedov. It's fantastic wrestler.
Very much like
wrestling
Merab.
style. Good, yeah. Merab, good wrestling, strong. Got throws on the feet, which I don't think would be smart against Petr Yan. But I think the wrestling aspect of it all makes for a good fight. It makes for a really good fight. I think that style right there, Merab's got a good chance of beating Petr Yan. But if he wins that interim title, because they're saying it's going to be for the interim title, which should be, that puts him right in that position. Hey, you take this fight. You're fighting him no matter what if you win. Like, I don't want to hear shit. You shut your fucking whore mouth and you fight that guy. That's really what it comes down to. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. And I could see, because there was ways, I'm just being honest, like there was ways that Dana was trying to plot Swick, Koscheck, and Fitch all against each other to fight each other, and just never came to fruition. And I'm going to be honest, Dana had reached out to me as well as Joe when I beat Nate, that they were trying to get me to fight Gray. And I was like, Gray trains with me now, Gray Maynard. I'm like, no, he trains with me. I'm like, I'm not fighting Gray. Gray can fight somebody else. Gray, I was like, look, if we were fighting for the title, it'd be different. We're not fighting for the title. And then it was like, okay. Then it was, hey, Khabib is 20-something. After I had cornered Khabib twice, they saw me in Khabib's corner. They were like, hey, what happens if you guys match up? I'm like, we have a long ways to go before all that shit happens. But that's the type of shit the UFC does. And not just that's promotion stuff. That's
the kind of shit UFC. That you're doing now.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm not teammates with any of those guys.
Let me help the UFC get it going.
Yeah, because I already know that's what they're going to do. They need to stir that shit up because that's what sells. We're already there. Funny. We know. John, you know. People are hating me right now because I'm being such a smart ass. And they know. And you guys, if you guys are listening to me, I'm just being a smart ass. You know it. But you look at it. TJ's out. I think Corey's the number one, obviously the front runner. Absolutely. Yeah. I think if Corey wants to take the fight in 4 weeks' notice, if he takes the fight, look, you have to look. Most people want a full 6-week camp. They want mental preparation to be like, hey, that's the guy I'm fighting. And Corey's worked his way back up after losing to Aljo. He's worked his way back up. He's ready to go.
Yeah, but he has a lot. Hold on. He's got a loss against TJ.
That's true. I agree.
Okay, so
I agree.
He's in a position of, you're going to give me a shot? Take it. He's got to take it. Got to take it. Yeah, but
I guess, do they give it to him, though, or do they give it to Rob Font?
Well, they might give it to Rob Font based upon his win, but, Corey, a lot of people will look at that fight and go, really close.
Because you look like, right, Cody Garbrandt, he's at 25 now. Frankie Yeager just lost. Yeah. He had bad loss. And then you got Pedro, who
lost.
He lost. You got Dominic Cruz. You're not going to run that back. He's not going to go all the way up to the title shot. I think Merab's right there at 11. I'm sorry,
well,
John.
He's not at 11.
He's not at 11 anymore.
He's going to be moving up. So
he'll be up. He'll be up past. He'll be at 6.
I agree.
He'll be at 6.
But you're look at you trying to stir shit up, and I know what you're doing.
All right. Okay, let's move on. I tried to sell it.
But it was what a round and what a performance by Merab. You got to give it unbelievably tough. Stayed in there, and then, I mean, from the point, landed every offensive thing. That was going to be a 10-8, easy, maybe even getting close to a 10-7 round, but unbelievable comeback from Merab.
Okay, let me jump. I'm going to throw some more into this mix.
Jump.
I'm going to throw some more into this mix.
Stir the shit, dude. That's what you're doing.
Moraes has a hard time. Marlon Moraes has a hard time. He gets tired. Carries a lot of muscle. 45?
Yes.
Thank you.
We've said it before.
Yes. He peters out. He's fatigued. Like, he can't take shots. A lot of that has to do, I think, with fucking cutting weight.
It does.
He's cutting so much weight.
He's thickly muscled. He has got a lot of muscle on his frame, and he is in a position, if you're going to carry that much, you have got to move up.
Yeah. What I think is this, as I think that he cut so much weight, his chin is not what it used to be against fighters that were lesser than him when he was fighting the World Series of Fighting. Then he came to the UFC. He's fighting a lot more top level guys, and there's more of them. So every fight is a dog fight. Yeah, every fight's a dog fight. But when I look at him, though, I'm like, you are so thick. You could go to 45, and I think you would have great performances. The issue that he has probably is that he feels like he's not tall. He's definitely not long and lanky, but he's not tall. He's probably, 5'3", 5'2", but he's not. No, he's 5'4", 5'5". But I mean, you know what I mean? Like he's not a tall, lanky guy, but he is very thick. His legs, his waist is small, but his shoulders and his chest, all of those things together, he's a phenomenal fighter. I think he's killing himself to make the weight, and it's affecting his performance.
He's 32, 33 years of age? Something like that?
I think and as he gets older, it's going to be harder and harder to make the weight, and the chin's going to go less and less. He's 33 years old. Just go up, man. And 3 in a row.
Take a look at the list of people that he's fought.
I agree.
his last bit. Stop it right there. Okay, you got Jimmy Rivera. Okay, well, you got Dotson. Let's say the last 10 fights. Dotson, Aljamain Sterling, win. Jimmy Rivera, win. Unsakau, I can't say his name. Asunciao gets a win against him. He loses that championship fight to Henry Cejudo. All right. Gets one win against Aldo, and then Sanhagen, Font, and now Merab, all losses and stuff. Look, he's fighting fucking killers.
Yeah.
Every fight is against someone that's a stud. 145, it's not going to be any worse.
No, I agree with you.
Not saying it's going to be better, but it ain't going to be worse, and you're going to feel better.
John, I have pitched this throughout my whole career. 155-pound weight class is the best and the greatest ever to exist in MMA. But let me say this right now, because I'm very, very biased when it comes to this shit.
No.
You shut your mouth. But when it comes to right now, in 2021, 135 pounds across the world is the greatest division. Hands down. I think it's the
agree.
If you look at the fighters in Bellator, you look at the fighters in UFC, and they say if you even look at a lot of the fighters in one they are the most PFL, the most stacked division across the board, nationwide. Worldwide. Yeah. Absolutely, hands down right now.
I was asked that question on Twitter, and I said, you know, right now, bar none, featherweights and bantamweights are the toughest weight classes there are. And then the people, oh no, the UFC's lightweight division. It's like, dude, we're not talking about just the lightweight, and it's not even close. Even the UFC's bantamweights and featherweights are more stacked than the lightweights, although the lightweights are studs.
Yeah, when you look at divisions, you look at when people are like, oh, like when I actually saw that tweet when someone said the lightweights in the UFC, and I was like, yeah, but the problem is though is that the UFC only has, they say, 8 of them. Sure, they're stacked, but we've also seen there's several of them in there that are in their late 30s.
Yep.
Which means that it's not as stacked as you really believe. Yeah. And I'm not trying to take anything away from the ones that have been there for the longest time. Tony, RDA, like they've been in there forever. They've been the top guys in the world, but we're no longer elite anymore. Yep. Like I don't see them being a champion. I can see them making a run. I could, but I don't see them being champion. And I'm being honest. I see them making a run, potentially. But I don't see them being champion. John's shaking his head no. For those you guys listening to us on audio right now, I want you guys to understand how mean John is.
I'm not being mean. I'm just being honest. And right now, Tony's coming off of 3 losses. He's going to make a run. He needs to get a win.
It has happened before. Okay, John.
I'm just saying.
Have some.
Got to get a win.
I'm a Tony Ferguson fan.
I'm a huge Tony fan.
Doesn't sound like it, John.
That does. Okay.
I know you are, John. Like if you guys are listening to us right now on our audio platforms, you guys have to understand. John is a huge fan of Tony. Tony used to train at your gym.
Yep.
You guys have
love the guy. Yeah, kills me to watch him lose.
Yeah, it's horrible. It is because he's a stud, man. He's an absolute stud.
Yeah.
But I don't know how we got off on this tangent, but I really believe the 55-pound division. It's good. Don't get me wrong, and I'm extremely biased. It's good across the world. But when we're talking the best division right now in the world, it's 135. It's bantamweights. Yep. Hands down, bantamweights right now are the best in the division. Best in the world. Across every promotion, bantamweights. All right.
Yes,
where do we go? Go back.
I agree.
Finally, I'm so glad.
No, you said something very intelligent. I like that, man.
I say things that are intelligent all the time. You just can't comprehend sometimes. A little slow being 80 years old.
Okay. All right. Let's talk about the main card. Let's get to it. Jessica Andrade faces against Cynthia Calvillo. Man, you saw the difference. We kind of talked about this, and I said, Jessica Andrade has got too much power, too much strength, too much ferocity. I know what happened with her against Valentina, but Valentina's on a different level. Yeah. She's 3 steps above everyone else. Jessica Andrade, she's a stud. She's been a world champion. She can fight with anyone. And when you're talking about, she used to be the strawweight champion. Now she's a flyweight. Well, Cynthia started out as strawweight and had to move up. And you're going, where is Cynthia's strength? Well, it's really actually on the ground. She's a good grappler. Her power in her striking is just not that much that it's going to stop someone like a Jessica. And you saw that in the fight. She was touching her at times. It just had no effect. And when you cannot make your opponent respect your power, respect the fact that you can hurt them, it becomes a difficult fight, and Jessica had zero respect for the power of Cynthia.
Yeah, when I look at Jessica Andrade, what I look at is the first
you look
thing
at
that
tall,
comes,
long, and never.
No, absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
But what I think of and who I think of is Gray Maynard.
Wow, why is that one?
The bully, walk you down, throw big shots.
Yeah.
Like, that's the style. Like, after Gray got away from being a wrestler and started falling in love with his power in his hands.
Oh, my God, yes.
Jessica Andrade has that same type of, like, just that bully, just walk you down. I'll take one shot to deliver one. I'll take two shots to deliver one. Like, she's an absolute bulldog, and just walks you down and just touches you, and they add up. And then once you're fighting off your back foot, you're not the same fighter. And that's what happened to Cynthia tonight. She was fighting off her back foot. She never became the same fighter.
That's why I call Jessica my Joe Frazier.
Yeah,
she
I can
fights
see that.
like Joe Frazier, man. She comes forward. She just stalks. She'll take shots to give shots, because in the end, she knows my shots are going to have more effect than yours.
Yeah, absolutely. I would have to agree with you 100% in terms of the Joe Frazier comment. Perfect. Perfect comparison. Okay, so Curtis Blaydes and Jairzinho.
Man, I'll tell you what. I understand. When we talked about this with, Jairzinho and comparing him to Derek, who, ended
Lewis,
up knocking. Yeah, Derek Lewis, who ended up knocking out Curtis Blaydes. And we were saying, a little bit difference, maybe not quite as explosive. I'm not going to say not quite. Not willing to throw his damn hands at times when that person is coming into range. You've got to take those chances. You are losing the fight based upon you are feinting. You are not throwing. You got to throw it. Yeah. And I was impressed when Jairzinho got up off of that first takedown, because it was a really nice takedown. It was good body positioning by Curtis. And you saw, Rosenstrike be able to get himself back to his feet. I thought, okay, that'll give him some confidence. Again, he's not throwing. And then he does the flying knee, which hurts Curtis. You could see it hurts him. And ends up getting taken down right after it. And you go, oh, man. He just needs to throw. The more you impact your opponent, the less they want to try to come into range, because it hurts. And when you got a guy that's a wrestler like Blaydes, I know you got to be careful, but you got to throw.
No, I agree with you. But I want people to actually go back and take a look at the second Cain Velasquez and Junior Dos Santos fight.
Yeah.
You guys got to take a look at that fight. And then I want you guys to take a look at how Curtis Blaydes fights. Now, Curtis Blaydes is tall, long, and lanky. I get it. I understand. I've created this whole thing. I've created this monster where I have to keep saying it. But he is tall, long, and lanky. He's got good wrestling. The issue that I have is, if you go back and you watch the Cain fight, he shoots, he doesn't get it, he shoots again, he shoots on his knees, he stays low, avoids the big punches. He's sometimes, in moments in that first round and second round, he's chasing Junior around on his hands and knees at his ankles. The biggest problem with wrestlers and fighters that become fighters, I should say, is their ego gets in the way. They feel it's embarrassing. They have to chase after a fighter on their hands and knees. It's not embarrassing if at the end of the fight, your hand is the one being raised and you're collecting your bonus check.
Yep.
So Curtis, I thought you did good on the feet. Well, but why take a chance with someone who has the power that he has? Don't do that. Utilize your wrestling. He cannot stop. And we have seen he cannot stop 2 and 3 and 4 takedowns. You are so damn good in your wrestling. I don't think a lot of these fighters, in the heavyweight division, can stop your takedowns. And sure, maybe they'll stop the first one, because we've talked about MMA and the growth of men's MMA. Women's MMA is catching up. They're getting there. But in terms of the wrestling and stopping the men's wrestling of the second and the third takedown, it's only gotten to the second. It hasn't gotten to the third yet. If you can chain wrestle to the third takedown, that second and the third, your chance of getting the takedown is, I would say, 95, 98%. He's got that in him. He's just got to do it. And the problem is that he starts getting into this exchange, and that's a big reason. And this is a big reason why Corey Anderson left. because UFC was putting pressure on him to be a stand-up guy. He's not a stand-up guy. He didn't want to be that guy. And guess what? He tried to be, and it didn't work for him. Then he got back to doing what he was doing. He became dominant again, and then he left. He left the UFC as a number 4 ranked guy in the world. Yep. Okay. Now he's in the tournament with, the light heavyweight world Grand Prix for Bellator. He's doing well. He's in the semifinals. Curtis Blaydes is the same type of fighter. Same. He's got a little bit more confidence with his stand-up, but you're not a stand-up guy. Not against guys like Derek
I don't
Lewis.
think he's got more confidence than Corey in his stand-up. I really don't.
That might be true.
I look at Curtis as a guy who is hesitant in his stand-up. He'll give good movement. He's got good footwork. But when it comes to throwing, he throws ones, which tells me you're not confident because it's the combinations that are going to make something. And when you're talking about the difference that you saw, they made the comment before the fight that, Rosenstrike said something about, I've done 1,000 sprawls, getting ready for this. Sprawling is very rare that you have to do that in MMA anymore because shots from the outside don't really work that well. It's the shot can set up, as you say, the chain wrestling into the second maneuver, which is now I'm on to a single leg. And then my maneuver is I'm now into a clinch, a body lock, and the takedown is coming off of that inside or outside trip. Now we're turning the corner on it, and we're on the ground. Yep. It's all these things that add up, and that's what Curtis has. Curtis doesn't have just, freestyle wrestling, which he can do, but he's got a very good clinch game, and he understands, what to do in that clinch and with his trips and everything. He's going to get a guy like, Jairzinho down almost every time from that position. So you've got to use your hands just to get into that position. You're not using your hands to win the fight. No. You're using your hands to get you into a position so you can take the fight to the ground where you are strong. That way you can win the fight. But
look, we're preaching. I think the biggest thing is I'm not talking about, I'm not trying to be negative. He fought a good fight. He fought a great fight. He got the win, did exactly what he's supposed to do. I just think that there comes a moment with guys like Jairzinho where you just have to realize he cannot out-wrestle me. Oh. I don't give a shit if I got to chase this guy down on my hands and knees to grab his ankles and his toes. Okay? As soon as I grab a hold of him, this dude's going down. And that's almost what happened almost every single time. Now, sure, Jairzinho got up, and I think Curtis just kind of was, okay, we're back on our feet. But just get back in there. Don't give him any seconds to survive. Don't give him any moments to get a breath. Because no matter what, like Koscheck said this before, he said, you can't teach a grown man how to wrestle. I know it backfired when he fought GSP. I got that. But what you can't do, though, which is very rare to do, is take someone who is a striker like him, like Jairzinho and Derek Lewis, and guys that are mainly strikers, and give them the wrestling conditioning to do it repetitively. Someone like Curtis Blaydes, he can chain wrestle for 15 minutes, I believe. Sure, it's going to take you got to take a little break in between, circle, stay away, and chain wrestle again. He can do it. Jairzinho can't do that for 5 minutes.
Look at his fight against Volkov.
Yeah.
Right? When he had that fight, it was 5 rounds, and look, he wrestled his ass off, and he wrestled Volkov to the point, that Volkov was exhausted, and he was tired too, but that's when he got some, bad reviews from the president, Dana White, saying, oh, that was horrible, it was boring and stuff. It's like, no, it was effective. And if you're going to fight a 6'7" kickboxer and you're not, probably a good idea to take him to the ground.
Yeah. The thing is that the heavyweight division in the UFC, it's a weak division right now. And what you have is, for him, he's a standout guy because he's a wrestler. There's not a lot of wrestlers in that division. Name the
other wrestler in there.
Stipe.
That's it.
That's it.
As soon as Cormier left, it was gone.
Yeah, if we look at that division, you've got Stipe, you've got Curtis.
That's it.
Shamil just lost. I mean, you have no one. You have no one there that can wrestle. Like Tybura and Sakai, they're not wrestlers. I mean, they have decent, not Sakai, but Tybura. He has
Aspinall's got good grappling. He's not a good wrestler.
Exactly. So when you're talking like Curtis, this is your weight class to win.
Yeah.
It really is. If you fight smart, don't care what your president of the UFC says. Don't care what the fans say. Don't chase these fucking people around on your hands and knees and grab the ankle and lift it up. And guess what? Once they hit their back, they're like a turtle on their back. Anyways, I know. Anyways, but overall, good performance by Curtis Blades. I know I ranted on quite a bit about that whole thing. Robbie Lawler, Nick Diaz. All right, now we want to thank our sponsor, MyBookie.ag. Head to MyBookie now and use your promo code WeighingIn to start off with a double deposit bonus. That promo code WeighingIn to double your money so you can double your winnings with MyBookie.ag. Use the promo code WeighingIn. And that's not all. If you deposit now, you'll also get a free entry into MyBookie's $50,000 NFL Survivor pool. That's a double deposit bonus, free money on UFC and free shot at $50,000. That's what I call a winning season. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with mybookie.ag. Use the promo code WeighingIn.
What'd you think?
I thought Nick looked a lot better than I thought he would be.
You know what? I will say this. First off, Robbie was in shape. God bless you, Robbie, for getting in shape, being motivated. I'm glad that Nick motivated you to put in the extra time, because Robbie was more active than any time that I've seen him in the last 3-4 years.
Yep.
He was throwing. Now, I do believe he had the comfort factor of knowing Nick's not going to try to take me down. So that's a good thing, you know. Nick also had the comfort factor of Robbie's not going to try to take me down. So they're basically out there just throwing, shots at each other. But boy, they threw a lot of shots. The one thing I will say with Nick is, man, he can throw and be offensive. And this is when we're talking, and we're multiples, combinations. Look at how many 1, 2, 3s, 4, 5s, 6, 7s Nick was throwing that he was landing. Robbie was doing a good job of rolling and moving and defending well. And it was the 6th, 7th shot that would come in that would hit him solid, because he didn't have all that movement to get past that, because he didn't see it. And Nick has always done that. I did a fight of Nick's when he fought Scott Smith that no one's going to remember. But I believe in one round he landed 200 and some shots. Jeez. Okay? That was one round, 1 5-minute round. He landed, not threw, landed. Like 200 freaking shots. That's the kind of output that Nick Diaz was famous for, and he was trying to bring it back. It's just he'd been gone too long, and you could definitely see Nick was never a real fast guy, but he slowed down even more. The shots were just a little bit slower. Just a little bit.
They were a little bit slower, but like you said, he was never a fast guy.
Yeah.
But the other thing as well, I don't want to take anything away from Robbie. Robbie looked absolutely phenomenal. He was in great shape.
Yep.
I was concerned when Robbie came out in the first round, started pushing the pace, letting the hands go right away. I was like, oh, what are you doing?
That's because you were used to the Robbie of the last 3-4 years that he's gotten tired.
Yeah. And
I did the fight with him against Donald Cerrone, and that was, let's say 2017, I would say, somewhere in there. So we're talking 4 years ago.
Yeah.
And look, he took the second round off. He won the first round and he threw a lot of shots. He took it off. He didn't throw anything. So Donald won that round easily, and then so it was all about, coming into the third round, and Robbie started doing that in a lot of his fights. And you could see he was prepared in this one. He was going to be able to go out on every round, 5 rounds, didn't matter, and he was going to put shots on Nick. And, Nick had to do something to fight it off. But the fact that Robbie was able to move Nick backwards just took more gas out of Nick, too.
Yeah, it did. It did. What I was texting with Robbie's manager, Dave Martin, early before the fight started, and then I texted him a little bit during the fight. But I was telling him, I said, look, Robbie's been one of my favorite fighters since the moment he got signed. I watched him fight at Calusa Casino up in the middle of Podunk, California, in the middle of nowhere. I watched him fight. Maybe it wasn't Calusa. It was probably another little shithole casino at the time. Anyways, and then we both fought on the same card in Shogun in Hawaii. And I was a huge fan of him then. He came out and he starched at that first casino fight. He landed Showwater in like 19 seconds or some shit. Just nasty, just KO quick, just arms went stiff. Absolutely amazing, like just knockout. I was a big fan of him ever since then. Then I saw him fight in Shogun. He had a great performance there as well. I've been a big fan. I was texting Dave. I'm like, dude, he's been one of my favorite fighters ever since I've met the kid. He was 19 years old at the time. And then, and I said, what was encouraging to me when I saw him at the weigh-ins, I was like, well, he looks small. The reason why he looks small is because he's fucking fit.
He's in shape.
He was in shape. I'm like, that's the Robbie Lawler that was the champion, that won the title, that carried the title for a while. And then you could just tell he started losing that, like, okay, this is getting kind of old.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And Nick motivated him again. And I think that's great. I think it's amazing. Now, I'm not going to take anything away from Nick either. 6 years away. 6 years away.
Fought his ass off.
Fought his fucking ass off.
That's right.
Look, this shit happens. Look, and I think also, I don't know if he'll be back, and I hope he is, because I want to see him fight again. But are we going to see, and now he's got himself in there, we're going to see a Nick that I think maybe has adjusted to, like, look, the fight week, the preparation, the camp, all that stuff. Those are all things that people, like, for 6 years you're away, and now you jump back into it and just have a camp. Those are a lot of things that are hard to deal with. Now, look, I know for the last 2 weeks we've been talking about Nick Diaz, and I got a lot of shit that some of it was deserved, some of it wasn't. But I want everyone to understand that Nick Diaz and Nate, I truly, truly love watching them fight. I have fans of them. I enjoy everything that they do. I will never, I'm not saying bad things. I'm not saying bad things about them at all that I don't believe is not true. So if it's something that I say, don't take it as if like I'm trying to downplay them. They're fucking phenomenal. Everything about them is phenomenal. They're great athletes. They're great people. People don't see the side of them that are great people. They're great people.
Oh, hold on. Let's. I know people talked about the interview that Nick had with Brett Okamoto. I understand why people were concerned and everything. Although the one thing that I want you to know, Nick's being honest.
Yeah,
man, don't you like the fact that someone is actually being honest with you and looking at things and not sitting there and hyping something? Just being honest with the way he looks at it. Being honest of, no, man, I don't like the fight. No, man, all these guys are fucking liars. All these guys are just saying, oh, man, it's great. I love it. You're fucking liars. You're afraid going in there because bad things can happen. He's being honest. I love that about him and stuff. And the fact that, he didn't want this fight with Robbie and he felt that it was wrong, they weren't going to give him Kamaru Usman.
No.
That's not even part of the conversation. But, I do like the fact that he doesn't sit there and play the hype game or anything like that. He just tells you the way he sees it. You might not agree. That's okay. But I loved everything that he was putting out.
When you look at him and his brother, you guys got to remember that whole deal that with Masvidal and Nate, when the whole USADA testing and all that shit, and the UFC came out and try to like backdoor him and say, "Hey, if you just take the fight,
we'll clear the fight. We'll work it out later."
Bullshit. We don't work shit out later. We work it out now. And for all of those people that are judging Nick for his interview, sure, maybe you guys are not used to hearing fighters talk that way. Not even just fighters, athletes, period. Because every athlete sits behind their publicists and they're just being fed full of bullshit that they feed to you guys, and you guys just fucking slurp it up. Well, guess what? That's not true. These guys, all athletes, NFL, NBA, baseball, all of them, they all want to tell you the truth, but they can't because their publicist tells them, no, you'll get burned, you'll lose money, you'll lose sponsors. Guess what? Nick don't give a shit. Nate don't give a shit. And that's what makes them so authentic and so real and so fucking fun to watch fight, because that's who they are. And when I sit here and I tell you guys like, hey, I was concerned for him going into the fight. And then when that 185 thing was announced, and I was more concerned, I was like, okay, he didn't look the way he looked 2.5 months ago when he was doing a triathlon. And like, it started bothering me. I'm like, look, I want to see him fight. I want to see him fight well. He is great for the sport, not just him and his brother both. That scrap pack, Jake Shields, Gilbert Melendez, all the guys that come out of there, they've all been great for the sport. You can't deny that. And so I grew up in this area in the Bay Area and where their legacy and their legends and all that shit fucking carries on. I was at Smoke Eaters tonight. Everyone was there to watch him.
Yeah.
As soon as he lost, 3/4 of the crowd left. Yeah. They didn't give a shit about Ortega and Volk. They didn't care about Shevchenko. They didn't give a shit. They fucking bounced out. I mean, that lets you know that his legend, his legacy still lives on around the Bay Area, at least in the Bay Area. I know it lives on everywhere else. You know what I mean? So No, I have nothing bad to say about
Hold
them.
on.
I love watching them both fight, especially
I want
Nick.
you to think about this, okay? UFC. All right, you're the promotion. You're the one that decides. So Robbie Lawler, an ex-champion, walked out first
Yeah.
to a guy that hasn't been there for 6 years and was never a champion for you. What does that say?
Yeah. They know how their bread is buttered.
They knew where the butts. They knew who was putting butts in the seats. You know,
Yeah.
let's just be honest.
And I don't want to beat a dead horse, but the bottom line is I have a lot of respect for Nick. I have a lot of respect for his brother Nate. I have a ton of respect for Robbie Lawler.
Yep.
The fact is, both of them came out ready to
They
fight.
fought their asses off.
They fought their asses off.
Loved it.
Look, I've seen little guys not put out that much output in that amount of time. They fought their asses off, and when we had a question, I think, on our way interjection, so if you guys haven't caught that show, will this bring back the legend type fights for the UFC? Because the UFC is like, a bunch of old people, we're not putting that fight on. I'm sorry, but I want to see fights like this some more, because guys like Nate, or not Nate,
fight
Nate,
like
but
that.
Nick, they fight like that. And when you get two older guys who have been around the game for a long time and they get to fight another older guy, the motivation trickles up in their ass, like we saw with Robbie Lawler tonight, and sort of tightening up his sphincter. He started fucking get ready to fight. He was ready to go. He stepped on the scale. He looked lean. He came into the fight. He had the bounce in his step. He looked like the young Robbie Lawler that I remember when he got signed by the UFC back in like 2001, 2002. That's the type. Those are the type of fights that I'm really encouraged to see. And I was actually very happy with both of them.
Yeah, I thought it was action-packed. They both brought it for as much as they could. There's going to be people that say, why did Nick, why did he quit? He was tired. He got hurt, man, and it was done, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. This is the one thing that, always separated boxing and MMA. An MMA fighter was able to say, done, tap, whatever it is, and it was never a bad thing. And then it started to become, we don't tap to strikes. Bullshit. You know what? You get hurt. You know what? You can't, you say, it's just not there for me. I have no problem with what he did. I thought he gave everything that he had, put on a great performance, fought against a tough dude. And after 6 years, man, to come back and fight the way he did, awesome.
GSP did an interview, I don't know, I'd say probably like a month ago, where he talked about people gave him such a hard time and the stigma around him tapping the strikes because of the Matt Serra thing. And then GSP came out and said, he's like, I don't regret it at all. He's like, I knew in that moment that I wasn't going to win that fight. He's like, when you knew that somebody had your number, he's like, why would I take more damage? Just get out, reassess, go back to camp, figure it out, and then come back and win. That was it.
Okay.
And
I'm going to tell you straight out. I did that fight, right? I never saw him tap.
Oh.
Okay. Well, no, it's because I'm looking down at him and he's getting barraged, and I stopped it right at the time that he tapped because I was stopping the fight. So it didn't matter. I was stopping it.
Yeah.
The whole thing with him tapping. So what?
Yeah.
I was going to stop the fight anyways. That's what I was doing. I never saw it. There's honesty.
Yeah. The what people need to understand is that he got out price. It only takes, and I'm going to be very frank with you guys, because like how Nick was frank with you guys in his interview, I'm going to be very frank with you guys. My career changed after the Tony Ferguson fight. I didn't like to be hit. I hated training. I didn't like to be sparred. I didn't want to be hit by anybody. It was one of those life-changing fights where in training, it was no longer fun anymore.
Yeah.
And that's hard for fighters to swallow. They really believe they can keep doing what they were doing. And the reality had set in that I didn't want to do it anymore. That I was like, okay, look, I can do it. Sure, I had a couple wins after that, but they weren't my performances. They weren't my best performance. And also throughout those performances, the whole time I was thinking, it is not going to take much to rock me, hurt me, whatever it was. And then I felt it and saw it in the Patricio fight, or the Patricky fight. Because he grazed me on the top of my head, not even with his fist. He grazed me with his forearm, and it sat me to my butt in the first round.
Yep.
And the second round came out, and we clashed heads. I butted heads several times in several fights.
Sure.
Never been dropped, never been rocked, never been sure it was like a quick jolt, like, oh, that hurt. But then you got back to fighting. The reality had set in that it was time. it only takes a fight like a Tony Ferguson fight to change your life, to change the way your career goes. And sure, I was older. I get it. I understand that part of it all. And then that's why when I spoke on the Tony situation where he was my age and then losing the way he was losing, whether it was to Oliveira or to Gaethje, because those fights, they change they change the direction of your career. They take years off your life.
This is where I say you leave parts of yourself, sometimes little tiny parts, sometimes big parts of yourself in that cage forever. You don't get them back.
I told a chilling story, and it might still be on our channel, but I told the story about it, and Podcast Dave did a good thing in terms of breaking it down in terms of like on the clip saying Josh Thompson tells chilling story about the Tony Ferguson fight. I kid you not, I lost so much blood in that fight. When I got back to the back locker room, I was shivering, and I got fully naked, tried to take a shower, and I couldn't stop shivering for 30 minutes. I was shivering there, just freezing cold. And I'm in an arena that actually wasn't that cold, you know, and I was just back there trying to rinse all the blood off me, and I couldn't even stand. Like my manager, Crazy Bob, he kind of had to put his hand on me to like hold me up because I was holding one hand on the wall, letting the water just run off me. I was stitched all the way up everywhere, but I was shivering my ass off because I had lost so much blood and so much water. Obviously, I was just dehydrated from everything. Yep. And the ass kicking you got, your body was in shock. Yeah. I mean, the ass kicking I got, I should say, is my body was in shock. And to think, like, with GSP's having that conversation, like, he knew. He tapped, came out, guess what? Ended up having a great career after that. Smart. If you think about it, right? It's smart. Like, we all look at it as like, oh, that's, you know, like, oh, you're a coward. Oh, no. Now you look back, and I look at it like, your career is lasting a lot longer. Because you did that, you were smart. He assessed the position in which he was in at the time, and it wasn't a position that he felt like he could win that fight. Tapped, moved on. You stopped the fight anyways, wouldn't have mattered. But then moving on, he came back, became champion again, had a great run. Then he came back and became the middleweight champion. I'd say he's pretty damn fucking good. He's done a great job. That one decision was great for his career.
That's it.
You know, so. All right, let's get into Shevchenko. And
look,
what do you think?
I love Lauren Murphy, and we both knew that this was going to be a very tough fight for her to get a victory in. But I was first off, having your spouse as your corner person, it's not always good because it's okay to have that person as the cheerleader if that's what they're there for. But when they're not being honest with you about what's happening in the fight, that's not good. And I'm watching it, and Lauren's output is very low because she was having problems with the speed, with the movement, with everything, and she was getting hit with the front teep kick. She couldn't really stop anything. Nothing was there for her, so she was unsure of how to attack. I said going into the fight, I said, look, in this fight, you're the big underdog, so go for it. Just be crazy. You know what? Take a big chance. Take big risk. Go for it. You may lose, but you may catch her, and that's your way of winning this fight. And it wasn't there. She tried to fight her in that, okay, we're both competitors, and we both have a chance of winning this, and we're going to match up. She couldn't match up with her, and I mean, she was tough. She took a lot of shots, Shevchenko throws that, the right, left, then right kick combination continuously. She hit her every time with it. And I give it to Lauren. Tough. The finish was, it was a good stoppage by Keith, and that, he got her out of there because there was no reason to go further with it. But Shevchenko, talent-wise, I've said it before, I think she's the most talented overall as far as her technical ability, woman fighter out there right now.
No, I agree. I agree with you. I think she's the best. I think she's the best female fighter in the world right now. Yeah. I don't think there's another fighter out there. Everyone says Amanda Nunes. You could say Cyborg. You could say Juliana Velasquez. You could see all these other fighters. Yeah. Absolutely not. I think it's her. And I don't want to stamp it too hard, because when anytime anyone stamps something too hard, then she loses next.
She gets
fight.
beat.
You're like, I just jinxed her. But no, she's phenomenal. She's phenomenal all the way around. I think Lauren Murphy she tried to fight, like you said, she tried to fight the straight up fight. You can't. You've got to do something different that she hasn't seen. Try to catch her off guard. You've got to do the Matt Serra GSP type thing.
Yeah,
come out, box it, do something crazy, be aggressive. You have nothing to lose. People have you were plus 950, I think, a couple days ago. Now I think it dropped to like
plus 850.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. So in that situation, it's a shitty situation to be in, but you could have been the Matt Serra situation. You know what I mean? But you've got to let it go. And she wasn't really able to do that. The one advantage she had was trying to get the wrestling, get the takedowns, and she was losing that as well. And that was just started to downfall from there. I think the confidence. And you said in terms of the cheerleading, your spouse there and this, the problem is if your spouse has nothing to cheer for, then what happens? It becomes, you come back to the corner, you see that face of like, damn, we're not winning. Like, that's the other hard part, is because you know them, you know their reactions, you know those facial expressions from them, and that's not a position you want to be in.
No, and I'm not putting her husband down at all.
No,
look, he's there to help her and stuff, and I think he's a coach. He's great with the ground game, and he's giving it off to the other coaches, but they're not telling her, Lauren, you got to throw, Lauren, you got to take chances, Lauren. You're not, you can't win this, if you are not being offensive. And I just didn't see a whole lot of offense out of her. So, but I've seen how many, ladies fight against Shevchenko and be in the same position.
Yep.
All right. One of my favorite products that we endorse here at the Weighing In podcast is Fume. Fume is the best way if you are a smoker or someone that smokes or vapes, and they want to quit. They should quit. It's unhealthy. Fume is the best way to quit smoking or vaping naturally. It replaces that hand-to-mouth habit you have. There's all kinds of flavorful blends that are all plant-based. It's essential oils. It will curb your nicotine cravings. It has menthol sensations like peppermint and eucalyptus. Stress relievers that are lavender and cinnamon. There's no smoke, no vape, no nicotine, and no harmful chemicals. It's all just plants. You need to head to www.breathefume, that's F-U-M, no E.com/weighing in, and please spell that fume F-U-M. Use the promo code weighing in to save 10% on your order today. If you take the quiz about super plants, you'll get an idea of what you can use and what will help you in quitting your bad habit and now coming up with a good habit with the Fume package. The package will have the prominent, which is the piece that you will actually inhale those essential oils with. It comes with a pack of Conquer, a pack of peppermint, which I love, the black pepper, and the new white cranberry. Give it a try. You will like it. Josh, what do you think?
I think that this thing has worked perfectly for a lot of my family, as well as some of my closest friends that actually listen to our show quite frequently, which is funny because sometimes families don't listen to what you're doing or your friends listen to what you're doing. But the bottom line is they've listened to us. They've actually ordered Fume online and they've used it. They have suffered from COVID at certain situations where they've lost their smell and their taste, and they've started using Fume, and has actually helped get their taste back as well as their smell. So this is something that I was unaware of until they actually started using it because of the essential oils in helping them get back their smell and their taste. So if you have suffered from COVID and you guys have had problems with losing your smell and your taste, try Fume with the essential oils that will help get this back for you. This is one of the best things out there right now. No smoke, like John said. You can have it in the car with your kids, with your family. There is no vape, no smoke. It's essential oils that come in through the nice little device that they provide for you with their little loading signal that goes into it. What's it called?
It's a prominent.
Yes, the little prominent that goes into the front of the tip. You just basically inhale on it. It's no smoke, no fume. It's been working amazing for a lot of people that I know closely to me, and they would not lie to me because they are friends with me and as well as family. So they've also said that their smell and their taste has come back because of the COVID situation. So it's something we were unaware of when we actually signed this deal with Fume, and it's actually really cool that this was worked out the way it has.
Yeah. All right, we had a whole lot of talk, a whole lot of bad things said about each other, but the Volkanovski versus Brian Ortega fight, holy shit, there were some moments in there. The score does not reflect the fight that took place.
Before we get started with the main card, or the main event, I want to say one thing, because I never do this, and look, I know I went on the tangent with Nick Diaz and with Robbie and everything else, but I want to say this, because I never give this guy credit. Herb Dean, great job tonight.
Oh, I was going to talk about that.
Fucking job. Great job. I thought when there was moments there, the doctor was trying to figure out a way to stop the fight, and Brian Ortega goes, I can see. He just walked away. He can see, let's fight. And it was perfect.
Herb did a good job of taking over the situation, because the fighter responds to him, but doesn't respond to the ringside physician, which means the ringside physician is thinking about stopping the fight. Herb did a nice job of getting the attention of the fighter, having the fighter converse with him, getting the information that he needed, and allowing the fight to continue. So it was a good job by Herb.
Great job.
Yeah.
And I don't
good job.
Herb.
Wait, I'm glad you gave credit where credit is due there, Josh.
I do almost all the time. But with Herb and I have had some problems in our fights before, because he's repped a couple of my cage grabs, fingers in the cuts, those kind of things. But look, I know he's a good ref. I do give him credit. I know he's a good ref, but I like to pick at him more than I like to give him credit. Tonight, though, I had to give him credit, because that fight, if he would have given it a couple seconds for the doctor to make the decision, we wouldn't have seen the end of that fight. And it was a great fight after the fact. After that had happened,
round,
it was still a great fight. You know, so it was a great job by her.
Good a round as Merab against Marlon was. This one, probably was better. It was
crazy.
Amazing,
insane,
crazy,
absolutely
crazy.
Insane. All right, so let's get into the fight.
Overall, like I said, it was a great fight. The score does not reflect the actual fight. It was so close in a lot of the rounds. I mean, I can understand why, someone could have given Brian the first round if they wanted, but I would have gone probably Volkanovski, but I was more of a Brian homie. Let's just say it that way, because
you are.
I knew you were going with Volkanovski, because you said you can't go against him anymore. But the third round,
I won't go against Usman either. By the way,
you just gotta go. You gotta go to the third round, because that third round, man, if you are not an Alexander Volkanovski fan, you have got to be after that round, because let me tell you something. That was tight. You saw him kicking his legs on that topside guillotine. He was doing everything. And let's go back. We're talking about Merab. Merab had that same situation with Ricky Simon, if you remember, and he went out and kind of came back, and then went out and then kind of came back, and there was the whole thing. And you saw Volkanovski in that position. You go, oh, he is in such trouble. I was like, oh my God, he's going to get him. Oh my God, he's going to get him. And he got out. And then he went to a triangle. That triangle was tight. At first it wasn't, but when he sat to his butt, I was like, oh, you might have him, but no. And then he came back and put a whooping on him. What a round. Unbelievable.
John, so the first two rounds I had Volk winning. I had Volk winning both rounds.
Yeah.
First round I could see it being close, and I wouldn't have cared either way how the round would have went. But I had Volk.
Second round was definitely Volk.
Yeah, second round was definitely Volk. I mean, they almost stopped it after the second round. In terms of then going to the third. I'm going to be, and look, and people maybe think that I didn't like because I said Volk was going to win the fight. I was like, hey, I can't go against Volk. I have never in my life, and I've been doing this a long damn time, people. Okay, I've never in my life seen an athlete when people talked about Brian Ortega's grappling. I knew it was good. I've never seen an athlete slap on a submission that fast and have that much threat that quick.
Woo.
He made me a believer in
which
less than 1 second.
How tight it was.
In less than 1 second, I was a fucking believer. And here's the thing. You guys at home, it's one thing to do that to your brother and your sister, like the white belt and blue belt in class. It's another thing to do it to fucking the world champion, the way he did it, that quick, that fast. And when I was on the fight companion with him, and we were talking, we were having a conversation about him being able to submit Khabib, and I was like, yeah, that ain't happening. But that right there, that made me, I still don't believe he can submit Khabib before I get into this conversation. But that right there, though, That made me realize how dangerous he really was, because we haven't seen that from him forever. Like, we've seen him knock out, guys. We've seen him like stand and bang. We've seen him. He's got a great chin.
Yeah,
he's not out.
I want to say the last submission I can remember, and I could be wrong, but I think it was Cub Swanson when he got the guillotine on Cub. That's the last one I can remember Brian getting. I may be wrong, but that's the one I remember.
Yeah, Dave, can you pull that up? I mean, I know you're lagging a little bit because you're a little slow, but yeah. He's taking notes. He's like, hey, I got timestamps. I get it.
And then he pulls up Volkanovski.
Yeah. He doesn't even pull up Brian. Great job, buddy. Great job. I can see he's following along. Oh man, people wonder why I give him a hard time. This is so easy. So easy. Just go down to his last submission, because that's what we were talking about.
Yeah,
it was Cub Swanson. Yeah.
Cub Swanson.
Yeah. Good job, Dave. Podcast Dave. Right on task. I love me some Podcast Dave though. That's the thing, is we don't see it as much as we could. If I saw him get the takedown, I saw him get on top. If I saw his ground up, I saw people. He was attacking submission after submission. We got put to his back. That choke, that triangle choke. I was yelling in the bar. I was like, "Oh, here comes T City! Like, here comes Triangle City!" I was thinking, like, "Oh my god!" It wasn't there. It snuck out. It seemed very, very tight though.
Well, hold on. When he first locked it up, when he first got it, it was like, you don't have that.
Nah.
And you saw the posture of Volkanovski start to actually beat it. Then you saw Brian adjust it, and that pulled Volkanovski in, and he had it. And I was like, oh, he just locked it up. And you saw the look on Volkanovski's face and I was like, yeah, he ain't going to give in. He's got to go out, man. He's definitely not going to tap. And I was like, all of a sudden I got to the point, I go, he's going to beat this. And all of a sudden he's busting out of it. And gassed. Man, what a stud.
It was
that was one of the greatest rounds I think I've ever seen.
Yep. If we want to talk rounds, I talk like Nick Diaz, Paul Daly.
Yep.
I talk this round. I know there's some other rounds. I mean, but I would say probably somewhere in one of those. I want to say it was round 3 with Weili Zhang and Joanna. I think it was round 3. But there's been a lot of really good rounds. I have to actually sit down and write these fucking rounds down, because this is driving me crazy right now. This is absolutely amazing. Like, there's so many damn good rounds.
That one was great.
But that was a great round. And then, and you saw just Volk just start coming on. You know what really was crazy by me I was just flabbergasted by. Volk was pushing the pace in the 4th round. He came out and was pushing the pace in the 5th. But
5th round, he lost.
Halfway through the 5th round, he just was like, I'm gassed.
Yes.
He went from like...
And Brian all of a sudden got energy.
He was the Energizer Bunny until about 2 minutes into the 5th round. And all of a sudden he was like...
I could not believe after those submission attempts, the energy that he had, that he was hitting with, because you know that you're not breathing.
No, I know.
And your heart rate is high and all the things that are happening. And then you go from one submission attempt where you're not breathing to another one where you're not really breathing.
Yeah.
And then unbelievable. Just fantastic. Loved it. What a performance by Volkanovski. What a performance by Brian Ortega, man. He's got nothing to feel bad about. I know it didn't end the way, he would, would have liked it to have ended, but god damn it. He showed heart. He fucking stayed in there. There was moments in his mind. He's like, I don't want to be in here anymore. And he just said, no, I'm coming back out. Came back out, put on one hell of a performance.
Absolute great performance by both fighters. Like, Brian just stole me in the 3rd round. The way he slapped on submission after submission real quick. And then he also threatened a little bit in the beginning of the 4th, after basically almost being like told that the fight was going to be stopped. That whole situation. Like, he's fucking great. Great, phenomenal job by both fighters. But Dave, pull up the rankings, please, for that division. Okay, so John, where does Brian go from here, and that's 135, 45?
Yeah, right here.
Yeah, you were on the other one.
Yeah.
It's okay.
You've got Max Holloway is, I guess, fighting Yair Rodriguez. They announced that.
Yeah, we'll see.
So,
I don't understand how that guy's still in the fucking rankings, man. Just boot him out and like have him fight Edson Barboza. Beat it. Like do something else, man. I'm sorry. I'm not a Yair fan. I think he's talented. I think he's a great fighter. I think he could be really good, but he has that. Gosh, it just drives me crazy, man. I can't believe they're giving him Max. I don't know. Anyways, go on. So who do you think? So Max and Yair are going to fight. Let's just say they're going to fight.
Yep, they're going to fight.
You've got Brian. Where does Brian go from here?
Well,
he's already beat Korean Zombie.
He's gonna drop down 1 or 2, but not much. After that performance, he's not going to drop that much.
Yeah, Yair will go up 1 for someone who hasn't fought. I don't know. When was the last time Yair fought? 15 months?
Yeah.
How is he still in the rankings?
Has he fought any of these guys? No.
No, when was the last time he fought? When was the last time Yair fought?
I think it was Jeremy, wasn't it?
Yeah, but when?
The second time?
2017, I think. 2019.
Yep.
Jesus.
Jeremy the second time. Look at that.
It's going to be almost 2 years.
3 years? 2
yeah,
years?
and he's number 3.
Yeah, 3 years. 2021, right?
2019.
That's 2 years.
Yeah, I'm saying this is 2021. Am I right? Yeah. I mean, I know CT has kicked in every once in a while, but like, fuck it, 2021, correct?
Yeah, you're right.
I wrote the date today
Good
a couple
job.
times. Jesus. Fuck. 3 years, he's still in the rankings. Didn't they like, not
2
really
years,
strip?
Josh. 19 to 20 and then 21.
Okay, 2 years. Okay, 2 years. Like
That's
I said,
the
I'm not good at math, whatever. That's why I leave it up to John. All right, so 2 years. Still 2 years. Like, it's too long, man. Anyways. All right, so let's get it. Brian fights. Who does he fight? I mean,
there's
Giga?
different people you could put him in. You could say Bryce Mitchell would be fun. You know, I wouldn't put him against Giga right now. I would put him against someone that's a grappler. I want to give someone like Bryce Mitchell a tough fight.
Yeah.
Josh Emmett is still not ready, so that he's kind of out of the equation. Look at Arnold Allen. I know people don't really pull his name up a lot. That dude is
good.
He's really good.
Yeah.
So he's a solid fighter. You still got Calvin Kattar. You know,
That's not. Yeah.
Brian Ortega against Calvin Kattar. Are you kidding me?
Don't get me wrong. I think it'd be a good fight, but I think Calvin Kattar's got to get back on track.
Yeah.
His fight against Max was, I think, eye-opening for him. There's a lot of things, a lot of inner demons he's probably trying to deal with right now because no one's ever beat him the way he got beat in that fight. And so as a fighter, there's a lot of mental warfare going on right now for him mentally on how he adjusts and how he adapts to who he fights next. And so I don't know if Brian Ortega is the guy for him to fight next. I'd like to see Calvin because Calvin's extremely marketable. He's someone that you could definitely see making a title run, but he's got to get back on track.
True.
I think with Brian, Giga's got a lot of hype around him. It would make sense probably for the Giga thing, but I do think that if Brian does take him down, then the fight's over. So, yeah, quick.
It's not even close.
Yeah, but can Brian get him down? Yeah, that's the other thing. I think he can.
First off, did he take Volkanovski down?
Yeah.
Okay. Enough said.
Yeah.
Volk's
shorter, stocky. Man, I was impressed by Volk.
Yeah, he's a lot harder to take down than Giga.
Yeah. Who do you think Max or who do you think Volk fights next? He fights the winner of Yair and Max?
Yeah.
Third time with Max?
Possibly. You know, you're stuck in that position of no one stepping. Giga's the guy that you're looking at, but right now, as far as his takedown defense and everything, he fought a certain way, you know, in his fight that he just had based upon he didn't worry about getting taken down.
Yeah.
So that allowed him in the Edson Barboza fight to be like a kickboxer, which he's phenomenal at. You know, but it's different when you have to play the game of, this person's going to try to take me down. It's going to widen his stance. It's going to take some of the kicks away that he has. It's going to make it to where he's a little bit slower in the output. So I don't know. I just look and I say, you know, I'd like to see Giga fight, but I want to see him fight against another guy that's going to be more of fighting that stand-up game. If I could have put him against someone instead of Max, Holloway, I would put Yair against him.
Yeah.
But
John, here's one thing, and one person that we're completely forgetting, only because he's not in the rankings right now, is the guy that I think would have potentially been a barmer for all of us. Zabit. It's
Not
sad.
there though.
I know he's not there. I get it. I'm hearing that he's going through like a lot of like health issues. I don't know what it is, but I mean like injury, not like in terms of like, but it's more injury stuff.
Not Anthony Johnson's.
No, Zabit.
Yeah.
It's not Anthony Johnson's type stuff. Yeah, it's more like injury, whatever the injury is, he's having a hard time getting it fixed because it keeps coming back. So whatever that injury is, I don't know. But he is the guy.
He's good.
He's good.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, Yair ran from him for years until finally Zabit couldn't fight anymore. So,
smart man.
Yeah, smart man. Yeah.
Don't fight Abe Lincoln, man.
Yeah. But he's that guy that I would have loved to have seen up in that mix, because him fighting Brian Ortega would have been a fight that I would have loved to have seen.
That would have been a great fight.
Because all the way around, you know, Brian with the submission attempts, you know, Zabit with all the crazy stand up, the hip tosses, the wrestling, but the reach, the range, all that stuff, along with he's got that sambo style jiu-jitsu, whatever it is, like leg locks, arm bars, all that stuff. Would have been a great fight. He's also tall, long, and lanky. Yeah. Anyways. All right, well, hey, let's talk. Let's move on from the UFC. Let's get right into we're going to talk about one first. We'll talk about ONE FC first before we get into the boxing.
All right, let's do it.
Really, there's not a whole lot for us to talk about, but I will talk about my good friend Marcus Buchecha and his first MMA fight. Good stuff. Fought Anderson Silva, not the Anderson Silva that you guys may be thinking of,
Definitely
but he's
not
a
that
different Anderson Silva. But I said this. Look, Marcus, like Buchecha's wrestling is not the greatest. He did have a good job of punching his way in right away, getting into the fence, getting the lock in his hands, getting the takedown.
Yeah.
And then was just slow, composed, wasn't a world beater on the ground in terms of what he was doing, but he was very methodical in everything he did. He's a stud, man. When it comes to jiu-jitsu, once the fight hit the ground, I was like, okay, I don't see this fight going past the first round. And I said that when we did our midweek show this week. So overall, great performance by him. I want to tip my hat to him. Say, hey, man, I'm proud of you. Got in there, did something a lot of people can't do. They fought. Good job.
I call it not a great performance, because a great performance would have been him fucking doing something that was like wild and, you know, whipping into it, a submission. I thought it was a strong performance.
Yeah.
I thought he did not allow the situation to overwhelm him. He stuck with what he is good at. Once he got the takedown, he was very methodical, slow, and systematic in just consistently getting to better positions. You looked at his body positioning, you go, yeah, you're not going to move him off you. It's just the way he puts his legs and everything. And then just, you know, he was picking. You could see, you know, looking, I've got the arm triangle. I think I'm going to just move. Goes to north-south. And look how slow that choke was. And you saw Anderson like putting his finger up like, no. And said, oh, no, it's coming. Yeah. You just haven't felt all that pressure yet, you know. And so, and he did, and then he tapped, and it was a very strong performance. Well done. Got past your first MMA fight. You did it the way that you have trained yourself through all your life with Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu to be strong. Go to your strength. That's what he did. It was a nice performance.
Yeah. Good stuff. Christian Lee lost his title in the main event.
Oh, dude, but it was a good fight.
It was a great fight.
I told you that Oak is that guy, man. You'll take him down and he'll pop right back to his feet. And he did it continuously to Christian Lee. And I will give Christian Lee nothing but credit, man. First off, he's getting really good. And he was in shape, because there was multiple times when I thought, that maybe it was the third round. I said, he's starting to get tired. And then he just came right back, and nope, he wasn't tired, and he was going after it. He just didn't have enough. He was losing a lot of the encounters when shots were being done. A lot of it was knees. The Oak had some beautiful knees that he landed in the fight, and some body shots too. I'll give him credit with some of the stuff that he was landing on him. But, you know, Christian Lee's young, and 23. He's going to just get better.
So that's the first thing that I noticed in the grappling exchanges, the wrestling exchange. Christian Lee was pushing the pace, doing a great job, trying to do the best he could. Got the takedowns, got the back, almost got the choke. I want to say what he got almost got the choke.
He was up against the cage in the stand-up, and you saw, and you saw Oak trying to turn, and it was like, he might get this.
Yeah.
Almost switched it to a front choke, but couldn't do it.
But what I look at from a 23-year-old who's got 4 losses, okay, he's 15-4, was the champion for a while there, had some great wins. What I saw, John, was someone who is not quite a man yet. The man strength, to me, Oak had the man strength.
Yeah.
He muscled his way. There was a couple times where Christian Lee was trying to hit the darts and trying to hit like the Japanese necktie. Yep. He couldn't get Oak's head down.
Yeah.
And Oak was just standing up with him on his back.
Yeah.
Like, that's a man versus a young man still.
Yes.
He's not a full-blown, like when he turns 27, 28, if he keeps the same type of level of intensity in terms of training, strength conditioning, becoming a full, like, you know, a professional, a professional
He's
man
a professional
athlete.
now, but
yes,
just focuses, puts all his energy into it. Yeah.
Yeah. I think the sky's going to be the limit for him because I just saw the strength was the biggest difference when it came down to like finishing the submissions, being able to, any other person that didn't have that type of strength, he probably would have finished. Yeah. He just wasn't able to get it. But overall though, like Christian Lee, great performance. I thought he showed a lot. It was a great fight. If you guys haven't watched it, you guys can actually check it out on YouTube. Check it out there. Yep. And his younger sister got a win too. TKO punches in the second round. Victoria Lee. You know, his other sister, I believe she's having her baby here shortly, or she did already have her baby. I don't know. But Angela Lee, who was the former champion. So he's got a whole family full of people to train with. So, yeah. But overall, I thought that fight was an absolute barn burner of a fight.
It was a barn burner. It was a great fight.
I was very impressed with Buchecha. Good stuff tonight.
They did say there was like supposedly controversy in it. It's like there's no controversy.
Yeah, there was.
I
saw. I don't know if I don't want to say who it was, but I saw some media sources saying there was controversy involved. I'm like, I didn't see any controversy at all. Christian lost the fight. To me, it was clear. It's a good fight though. It was really good. Yeah, I don't know what the controversy was. I was trying to see what it was when I was watching the fight. I didn't read the article because I was like, I don't want to hear clickbait. So I actually just watched the fight to see what I was thinking. So, all right. So let's talk about the boxing match today. So Anthony Joshua.
Anthony Joshua
against Usyk. What'd you think?
I had it in. I'm just being honest. First off, Usyk came out. He was lighting him up. The speed difference was apparent. He was landing beautiful combinations. I had him winning like the first 4 rounds.
4 rounds.
And then I had Anthony won 2 rounds. I had
5-6.
Yep. Usyk won the 7th, and Anthony won 2, and then the rest Usyk, and especially, you know, they were making comments like, "Oh, he just needs a knockdown here in the 12th round." I'm like, "Are you fucking high?"
He needs 2 knockdowns.
Hello?
Maybe a knockout.
I had it 116, 112 at the end, but I thought it was a great performance by Usyk, and you know, it definitely threw a monkey wrench into the works of the possible Joshua versus Fury that everyone wanted to see. But I think you got another guy in there that he's fun to watch, man. That dude's a stud. He fought a great fight, and he beat a good fighter in Joshua and proved, you know what? He's the man.
Yeah, I think oh God, how do I put this? Anthony Joshua originally let the hype get to him before the Anthony Ruiz fight.
Yeah.
He let the hype get to him. Anthony Ruiz came out, was able to get rid of him, and then came out and didn't have a great performance in the second fight because he didn't train at all. He came out publicly and he looked like shit in that fight. Yeah. Ruiz did. And he's made some changes since then. Yeah. And he's been doing well as well. Joshua in this fight, I thought he looked slender. I thought he looked good. Physically, I thought he looked good. I thought he looked better than I've seen him before. Before he looked puffy. He looked bigger. He looked more muscular. He looked like he slowed down. In the first Ruiz fight, he looked like he was very stiff in everything he did. This fight, he still looked a little stiff, but that's a mechanic thing, not so much a body frame size thing. Joshua also doesn't like press the pace and have as much output throughout the fight. He didn't have a lot of output in this fight either. But in some of his past fights, he also doesn't do that. When you saw the second Ruiz fight, there wasn't a lot of output during that fight. In that second one, he just stuck him with the jab because it was working. Ruiz wasn't pushing the pace. In this fight, Usyk really made him fight, and he fought back.
Oh, yeah.
He had moments. What you're going to see, though, with Usyk is that his style, it'll translate with Joshua because he's not mainly like a lot of output in terms of fighter. But I guess if I was to do like the roulette of the heavyweight division right now, you've got Tyson Fury at the top.
Yep.
I would put Wilder 2. And then I would put Usyk probably 3, put Joshua 4. I put Ruiz 5, and then Chris Arreola, how do you say his last name? Arreola, him probably like in that 6-7 area. There's probably another person in there that I'm missing. But Joe, you and I were texting earlier. I was texting you, and you weren't texting me back, which is, But anyways, but the overall thing was, I'm excited now about the heavyweight division. I haven't been excited about the heavyweight division in 2 decades. I don't know, whenever the last time Riddick Bowe and those guys in Holyfield fought, I don't know when that was the last time I really cared about the heavyweights, to be honest. Like that type of this division, if we can get them to stop with their promoters and all the fucking shenanigans and watch these guys fight, I'd love to see Usyk and Ruiz fight. The output, the chin, the exchanges, the fast hands, like I'd love to see that fight. Joshua, I feel like he would suffer to Tyson Fury and especially Wilder. Wilder has that power that will put him on his ass. I really believe that if Wilder touched him, we'd be digging his grave right there in the ring. Like just leave him there. The whole Tito Ortiz, just dig it there and just drag his body there and just cover it up. Because Wilder just has that like come to Jesus power. Like,
yes,
hey,
he does. The right hand is
nasty. It's nasty. And so with Tyson Fury, I think he'd piece him up as well, but it'd be more of the speed factor and the output is really what he'll have a problem with. We saw tonight, Joshua will have a problem with someone who has a lot of output and has a lot of movement. The movement is a factor. He didn't know how to make the adjustments. Every time Usyk moved left and right and threw the combination off that, he was stiff and just going, okay, where'd you go? Where'd you go?
Planning.
He couldn't throw off the movement. He didn't know how to counter off the movement. And I'm watching it going, if you throw, you'll have success. And when he did throw, he had some success. He just didn't have enough output because he was too busy going, shit, where's he at? Where I got to do? Like the movement was throwing him off, John, all night.
Yeah. I thought it was the speed difference. Usyk's speed caused him problems. He was many times he got flat-footed because he wasn't sure where he was going to go, and many times he was out of position and was getting hit at angles that you go, come on, you should be switching off, blading off, turning your back foot, moving to get yourself in a position to be able to counter from there. It just wasn't there, and so like you said, with the heavyweight division right now in boxing, there's a good top 5 that you can interplay there because, as you said, Usyk against Andy Ruiz, that would be a fun fight.
Yeah.
It would be a good fight. Now
I said Anthony all night tonight.
I know.
Ruiz. Yeah, Andy Ruiz. Sorry.
Yeah.
My bad.
But
CTE.
she kept saying Ruiz, so I was like, it was okay. I wasn't going to correct
Yeah.
But then you have, you've got the Wilder versus Fury kind of locked up with the whole court thing and everything.
Yeah.
So we're going to have to wait for that one to go by. But, people are going to want to see, especially in, the UK, Fury versus Joshua.
I just don't think you're going to get it now.
Well, that's the real question here right now because of this loss. Time, but you still have like I said, you have Fury, Wilder is still waiting there. So are they going to, Eddie Hearn's going to want to put Joshua right back with Usyk. I'm sure he's got a rematch clause in there. So we'll see what happens with it. But like you said, there's some good heavyweights. That was a good fight. I thought Usyk really fought a great fight, lit him up. I thought he had him in trouble in the 12th round.
Yeah, he did.
I thought right at the end of that sucker, he was in trouble.
So I saw Rogan posted something say they stopped the 12th round 10 seconds early. They stopped it at the clack versus at the. Now I don't know if that's true because I couldn't hear it when I was watching it because I was watching 2 things at once. I was watching the prelims of the UFC and I was watching the boxing match. I didn't get to catch it live. Yeah. So
Eddie Hearn playing the part, man.
Yeah.
Stop this thing. Ring that bell.
Yeah. Because Rogan said, did they stop the 12th round?
I don't know.
Did they really stop the 12th round early? So. I was just checking.
I didn't see the timer and stuff, so I can't say.
Yeah, I saw Luke Thomas. I think he commented on Rogan's thing as well, saying, "Well, the unofficial time is not the clock on your screen.
That's true.
That's okay. So
that's the unofficial time on your screen.
That is the unofficial time. So yeah, I noticed that Luke had pointed that out. So I don't know how much it was a difference. Maybe it was like 2-3 seconds, whatever it was. But 2-3 seconds can make a big difference.
Oh, 10 seconds.
People don't realize.
Difference.
People do not realize that 1 and 2 seconds is a long damn time. I can throw 4 or 5 punches in that amount of time.
Oh, no.
More than that?
More.
Really?
Absolutely.
God, you're giving me a lot more speed credit than I give myself.
You know what? Let me tell you something right now. 2 seconds time, you will land at least 8 to 10 punches.
Wow, that's crazy. I remember somebody told me that because I was there that night, that Chuck, when he beat Tito, I want to say the first time, he hit him with like 30 something punches, and it was like, I want to say like 12 seconds. I think. Yeah, no, it was something like 11 or 12 seconds. I think is what it was. I don't know. It was so long ago, I don't remember. But I remember that it being talked about during that time frame. Yeah. So, all right. Well, hey, good stuff for Usyk. Hopefully he doesn't have to get the rematch. He can fight someone like Andy Ruiz. Andy, you hear? You see what I did there?
There you go.
Or maybe he waits for maybe Anthony Joshua waits for the loser of Tyson Fury and Wilder and says, "Hey, I'll fight the loser to get me back on track." I don't know. I know promoters don't do that shit in boxing. All right, Dave,
now, I don't think either matchup is a good matchup right now for Josh.
No, I don't think so either. I don't think so. Dave, I know you want to run through some news, not a lot of news, because there is a lot of news out there. But I do agree that this should be the one that we talk about, Dave, because it is getting late. It's like 3 in the fucking morning for John, almost 4.
Let's see what it is.
And
no, 3:30, baby.
3:30, and it is 2:30 because of math. I figured that out. Dave's in the middle of the country now in these Texas stuff, so he is at 2:30, and me over here barely sleeping at midnight. Love it. Love the West Coast. Petr Yan reacts to Aljamain Sterling, pulls out of slated rematch at UFC 267, responds to challenge from Sean O'Malley.
Maybe they'll put Sean O'Malley in there. We were talking about Corey Sandhagen and all those different ones. Why would you do that when you got Sean O'Malley? Sean O'Malley versus Petr Yan.
Sean will sell more tickets than Corey Sandhagen.
He might.
No, there's no might. John, he will.
Well, it is in Abu Dhabi. So
he'll sell more. Never mind.
It
doesn't really matter.
There you go.
I don't think it matters.
Okay, now you know.
Mm-hmm. They already built the arena and they bought all the tickets. And there'll be 5 people there.
But the best one is if you look at
5 people there.
You look at the tweet of Petr Yan. He's got the thing of Nate Diaz when he said, "I'm not surprised, motherfucker."
Yeah. Beautiful. Was there any like?
Oh, dude, I loved it.
John, was there any doubt?
Come on,
yeah, John, I'm painting you into a corner right now. Just shocking, just fucking shocking.
It's amazing. Look, I will say this: he had neck surgery.
Yeah.
So true. You don't know, but he was in the corner of Merab, and he looked pretty good. So he was moving around pretty good.
Yeah, I've been there, bro. I've been there before, though. I was supposed to fight Gilbert Burns. I got dropped in training. I was still able to be around the gym, but I wasn't training, And so Gilbert saw a video of me training with Leo Vieira and Buchech and those guys. Like, oh, he's not fighting me, but he can train. Like, no, dude, no. Yeah.
And that might be what happened.
Yeah, I don't think he got knocked in. Maybe he's got some neck issues that probably still needs to be fully sorted out. I mean, coming up. So,
but they do need to make an interim title because you can't sit there and have this going on the way it is. So
the thing is, though, I could understand the Sean O'Malley thing. Believe it or not, John, I can understand it. I understand. Look, Sean has nothing to lose. Sure, he can lose the fight, but he's not even in the top. I was
gonna say, he's got 15. Something to lose.
He's not even in the top 15.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I don't know if Peter should take the fight either, though, because he has a lot to lose if he loses to him. But it's I know he's not going to lose to him, but it makes for a fun situation. Like, if you're talking here, like tall, long, and lanky versus short and stocky and good wrestler with good boxing. I mean, remember the last guy that Sean fought was able to touch him a couple times. I'm sorry, but if Peter touches you like that, we may be waking you up. Like we We might be shaking you. You okay there, Sean? What's going on? You see the lights? How many fingers am I holding up?
That's
It might be like that, but it would still be like, honestly, the lead up to that fight. I mean, I'd be like, oh wow, what's going on?
It'd be fun.
I think the Corey fight and him fight would be a good fight. Corey's definitely gonna be fighting from a underdog position based off Peter's wrestling, as well as like his overall ground and pound and attack. If he takes Peter down and he gets on top of him, we saw what he did to Jose Aldo. I mean, his top position, his top pressure.
No,
and I mean,
hold on, stop. I think you switched that with your CTE again.
Peter
You're
Yan,
saying if Petr Yan took down
Corey Sandhagen.
yeah, you said that in reverse.
Oh, did I? Oh,
Yes, you did.
see, yeah, it's 12:30 at night, John.
It's
I'm
so
sorry.
late there. Okay,
It's super late here.
it's all good.
But overall, I would like to see that fight happen. But I'm not surprised that Aljo pulled out. Neck surgery, it happens, man. I
Yep.
rag on him enough. I don't need to keep going on.
Yep.
All right, Dave, what else you got?
Next piece of news. Dana White making comments about the whole Showtime Canelo plan thing that happened.
Dana is the greatest. I'm going to just say it. He is the greatest at manipulating the media and putting something out there when he wants to attack something, because look, he's got an MO, and when someone has put pressure on him or has caused him a problem, he wants to get back at him, so he's getting back at Showtime. But this one, if you at least use common sense, Dana is manipulating the media and saying something that's not even true.
Yeah,
Canelo and Plant. That was a media thing for them
boxing,
to fight.
by the way.
Yes, this is boxing. Okay. But Dana is blasting Showtime, which is a production company, for the brawl between Canelo and Plant. But they're not the promoters. It's not like the UFC. The UFC is a promoter. That's why Dana stands up there as the promoter in between fighters, or he assigns his matchmakers, Sean Shelby or Mick Maynard, to be up between the fighters. But so everyone understands, Canelo has a promoter. It's Eddie Hearn. And Caleb Plant has a promoter. It's PBC. So PBC could have put Sam Watson there, or Eddie Hearn could have been there, but they're the ones that do it. It has nothing to do with Showtime. So although I love the fact that he used it to try to get to him, he's basically using something that's just not true.
Yeah. I mean, look, anytime Dana can take a jab at Showtime.
Oh,
'cause
yeah.
They do the
He's going.
Bellator thing. They do the boxing thing. But what he has to remember is that they made him a lot of money with the Mayweather situation. So he just needs to.
Yeah,
You know?
I think when they had that Mayweather situation, it was him and Conor and Mayweather and a guy named Steven Espinoza,
Yeah.
and they didn't seem to get along.
Yeah, but they still made a lot of money together.
Yes,
That's
they
the-
did.
They made a ton of money together.
Yes, they did.
And the overall, like, look, you can't, like, and for if you guys didn't understand what John was saying, boxing as a promoter, Showtime licensed their TV stuff to boxing. Boxing says, hey, we will give you boxing fights on your network this many times a year. That's really what they're doing.
Yep.
They don't interfere with who's at the fucking weigh-ins, separating the fighters. That's not their business. Their business is to fucking put the shit
To
on
film it.
TV for the world to see. That's it. So when he said fucking dumb uploads on Showtime, whatever it is, he's just taking a jab. But
Yeah.
that, and
Total.
for those of you guys who are like, oh, you and John work for Showtime. Yeah, you're right. We do work for Showtime.
Oh, I do, but that's
Yeah.
that's
This
not
has
why I'm
nothing to
saying
do
it.
with
I'm
it, you guys. This has nothing to do with it. Just that it was a good moment and opportunity for Dana to take a shot, and he did. He took a shot, and he's good at that. He's really
yeah,
good at
it was
that.
smart timing for him, but
Yeah, smart
timing. It's
but
got
it's
no
not true.
basis.
Yeah, it's got nothing, but it was still well played, Dana White. Well played.
Well played.
Good thing we don't believe everything that comes out of your mouth. Yeah. All right, what's next?
Last thing we're going to get into is Jon Jones gets arrested in Vegas while after the Hall of Fame ceremony. Such a disgrace.
Oh, first off, before we get into this, can we just say, I want to say, first off, congratulations to Mark Ratner for being inducted in the UFC Hall of Fame. Mark's done a ton for the sport of MMA. I have people all the time saying, man, he was against it. Yes, Back in the early days, he was, because that was his job as a regulator. But I will tell you that Mark was one of the reasons that it was legalized in Nevada, which helped grow the sport immensely. Mark was the reason that a lot of things were helped in other state athletic commissions. Mark has been a huge influence on the sport by being the regulator that other people believed in. So congratulations to him. Congratulations to George St. Pierre. Congratulations to Kevin Randleman. Rest in peace, brother. You definitely deserve that. You were the monster. And to the people that, made it into the UFC Hall of Fame, congratulations on that accomplishment. That is something special, and my hat's off to you.
Yeah. GSP and Kevin Randleman. GSP and Kevin Randleman. I don't know who else was on that thing, but I do know that those two were.
That was awesome.
And Kevin's wife is a friend of mine.
Elizabeth is a sweetheart.
Yes, absolutely amazing person.
Yep.
And I'm glad that she was able to be part of this as well. And
I just wish Kevin knew that, you know what, he got there.
John, he knows.
Okay.
John,
I'll agree with you. I'll agree with
he
you.
knows. Kevin, outstanding person. Been out, hung out with him a bunch of times. Great person. Him and Mark Coleman.
Crazy.
Great times, though. Fabulous people, amazing people, great hearts, big hearts, I should say.
Yeah.
Great people. And GSP. What
How
else
could
can
he
you
not?
say, man? GSP.
How could he not?
You can't. Yeah. How do you say that? So, look, let's talk into the Jon Jones situation. I mean, to quote what Petr Yan said, I'm not surprised, motherfuckers.
Oh.
But look, regardless of all that stuff, I don't even want to get into the Jon Jones situation because you want to know why, John? We don't know shit about it.
No.
We don't know anything. I just got it was this, and this, and it says domestic violence and injury and tampering with a vehicle. Like,
how do you injure a vehicle?
I don't know. Maybe he ran his door into it or something. Anyways,
Look,
we don't have enough information yet, so I'm not going to speak negatively on John. I'm not. But I am going to say something about Dana White. You're an asshole. Like this.
Whoa.
This situation, that's your fighter. And look, when he was 26, 27, 28, you were slurping up everything he was giving you. And you didn't give a shit. And now all of a sudden he's going through some hard times. You guys are having some contract negotiation problems. He's getting a little older in the tooth. I get it. But the things that you say, like, oh, he's only been here 12 hours and we can't even keep him out of the... Like, you wonder why when fighters get old, they fucking can't stand you. And that's why. Like, shit like that is just disgusting. Like, just be like, hey, you know what? I want to work this out. We're going to figure it out. Once I get more details, like Dana, we've seen how you kowtow to McGregor when he was doing his thing. Even when Jon Jones was doing his thing in the back, you would do all that stuff for them when they were younger and when you saw that your pocketbooks would be lined. But now this situation happens because you're having problems negotiating your contract. You're an asshole. Why? Like, he's still going to make you money if he fights at heavyweight. He's going to make you a ton of money. I mean, will he be back? I don't know. I mean, we don't know this situation, what you guys are doing with but you can see that the writing's on the wall that he's older and you're having some issues with the money that you're coming up with in terms of what he wants and where you're at in that thing because of the ESPN deal, because they're paying you so much just to put on shows. And we get that. But this is just like, there gets to a point where these guys have made you so much money, like especially Jon Jones. It should be like, hey, you know what? Let me just get the details worked out and we'll talk about, let's figure out what exactly happened and then we'll address the issue. Instead, no, it's only been 12 hours and it doesn't fucking surprise me. We can't even bring him to Vegas. We can't even do this.
What did you just say? It doesn't surprise me, motherfucker.
Josh, I'm amazed you managed to turn that around on Dana. That is really crazy.
It is Dana's fault. It is Dana's fault.
Like, the main thing is this. First off, I feel bad because somehow, some way in this, you just keep on seeing this picture of John when all of this is gone and there's no ability to make money off of fighting anymore, that he's going to have to deal with life, and you're just hoping that he gets things right. And I hope he does. And this whole situation, I don't know anything about it. Just because someone says it's domestic abuse doesn't. Was his wife there? I don't even know. I know nothing about it. So when I get information, if it comes out, then, if we know more, then maybe I'll say something. But John, I hope everything turns out okay for you and stuff. From what I heard, he looked pretty good there. He was like 265 pounds or something like that, they were saying. So he's up there big, looking good, they said. So I don't know. I'm not going to say anything about this whole incident.
Yeah, the Peter, like when I said the Petr Yan quote, guys, I was being a smartass. You guys, if you guys haven't figured me out yet, I was being a smartass. And my second thing with the Dana White thing, I'm not turning around on Dana White. I just feel like it was very uncalled for, not knowing the full situation and what was going on, or at least not speaking on it and doing what he did to talk about one of the best fighters to ever grace the face of the earth in your promotion that you've promoted since he was 23, 24 years old, something like that.
But Josh, look what he
I
was
just
arrested
felt like it
on.
was.
What's that?
Look what he was arrested on, Josh. How can you say that? Like, look at the
beating,
things he was-
injuring a car.
Yeah, like,
battery,
Dave,
domestic violence.
Okay, stop.
Yeah, that's the thing,
Okay,
Dave.
Here, hold on. Battery, misdemeanor charge. Domestic violence is never a misdemeanor charge, and they have it as a misdemeanor charge. So what do you have here? I don't know, because anytime you had, in California, it was 273.5 of the penal code. That's domestic violence. It's a felony. So I don't know what they have, but they also have in this, and this is a report on a website saying that, there was injuring and tampering with a vehicle. I don't know how you injure a vehicle. You can dent a vehicle, you can damage a vehicle, you can vandalize a vehicle, but to injure it, come on. It's the report. So what are you really getting?
It's also Jon Jones, though. That's the other part of it.
Yeah, but you can't look at it that way. That's the thing.
You're
It's like,
trying
like,
to make something
yeah,
here
you're
when
trying to make
you
something out of
don't
it.
have information and you want someone to say something on it. Get the information and then make a more intelligent response.
That was our original conversation. Look, I said that I'm not surprised, motherfuckers, because it was funny, and that was about it. Like we don't know anything. John and I don't know anything. You don't know anything, Dave, and so that's why we're not commenting on that. What we do know is that Dana White decided to say what he said, and I thought that was kind of a low blow, considering the fact that he probably doesn't even know the fucking full situation, as well as why would you say that about one of the guys that have made you a ton of fucking money? It's because you know that towards the end of the road he's at. And also, he's not going to be making. We've seen promoters do this countless times.
And right now, you're having a squabble over money.
Yep.
And
it's not being it's not worked out. So it's like, oh, okay. So let me just take a fucking stab at him while I can. That's it. That's all it is. And that's what's annoying about the whole situation. Like the guy's obviously dealing with something that maybe I don't know how much of it is. We don't even know the situation, but the bottom line is he's going through something right now because there's police involved and there's stuff being involved. There's a court date. Like, be there for him. He's made you so much damn money. Like, be there for him. I know you've had to be there for him plenty of times. Okay, but this is another time. This is because he will be back. I believe he will be back. He will fight at heavyweight, and I think he will potentially end up being one of the best heavyweight champions ever too if he decides to fight at heavyweight and they pay him what he deserves. So. All right. Is there something else there, Dave? What else you got for us?
That's it.
That's everything? All right, guys. Well, hopefully you guys go to prowrestlingtees.com/weighing-in. Use the promo code and still pick up one of our shirts, as well as when you guys are in our YouTube channel, hit the like button as well as the bell and the subscribe button. We don't say this enough. Subscribe to our channel. Okay, subscribe to our channel. I noticed that we get a lot of views, but not as many subscriptions as we should. So hit that subscribe button. I've noticed that I've followed some pages several times, but I don't actually hit the subscribe button. I just always go to their page. So hit the subscribe button. Do that for us. We really appreciate it. We want to thank you guys for tuning in and listening to our show. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. It is 4 a.m. where John is. It is 3 a.m. where Podcast Dave is. And it is 1 a.m. for me. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this show.
6 a.m.
Yeah, and this show's dropping in a couple hours.
Yeah,
so you guys
baby.
enjoy. John, you got anything else to say?
Yeah, I got one thing to say. First off, to all the fighters that were participating in the UFC. Thank you, man. You guys put on a hell of a show.
Great job.
Great fights. Great performances. Overall, man, I had to pay for it, and it was definitely worth my money. So I want to say thank you. And for everyone out there, thanks for watching us, and we will see you.